What is going on, guys? I can only assume you are coming from part 1, so we're going to get right into it here. This is rounds 2 and 3. I think this is really important because after the third round, it's a lot of dart throws, but I do think, you're going to find a lot of impact players here in rounds 2 and 3, and I'm really excited about some of the fits I found here. So let's get right into it here. Reminder, guys, please do like this video as well. So the first pick in the second round, always a fun one, waiting overnight to know who's going to be picked. It's essentially a first round pick. Arizona, we're going to grab Marquise Brown. So we grabbed a tight end earlier, and we're going to get Kyler Murray, his best friend from college. I don't know if they're best friends, but they had a good rapport on the field. Marquise Brown's going to open up the field. We know he works with Kyler Murray in this Big 12 offense that they're going to replicate here in Arizona. This could get real exciting real fast. Number 34, the Colts could really use another receiver for Andrew Luck. A bigger bodied guy. I love T.Y. Hilton, but they tried to kind of get that with Donte Moncrief. We're going to take another swing at that with Kelvin Harmon here, a receiver I absolutely love. Potentially the best in traffic, physical receiver in this class. Then Oakland, another kind of safe pick here, but a guy that's going to start and help them get after the quarterback, Zach Allen. Love this player, one of my favorite players in the class. Well, one of the safest picks, I think. Just given the work ethic, he's very polished, does not have that elite desirable physical ability. But I think he can be kind of this late career J.J. Watt. J.J. Watt, not the athlete he once was, but has that size, speed, length, finesse, power, everything you look for as far as the skill is concerned for Zach Allen. Plug him in there at defensive end, push him inside on pass rush downs. I think Oakland here, with these 3 top 50 picks at the bottom here, getting 3 really quality starters, which is something they just absolutely need. And they can take risks later in the draft. So then number 36, San Francisco. Luckily to get Ridley here, my number 2 receiver. What I love the most about Ridley is those quick feet. He's got that quick release that reminds me of like Devontae Adams, even like Amari Cooper, Allen Robinson. He's a bigger guy than his brother. He's not anything like him. He's not a burner at all. But you get the ball in his hands, he can create yardage by making guys miss. And I think here in San Francisco, he's going to have a really nice role as they've got some really good pieces there now on that offense. Then number 37, the New York Giants. Time to start looking at this defense. We're going to grab Chase Winovich. They just need someone that can get after the quarterback. Winovich, a better athlete than he gets credit for. Really nice fit here in New York. And then the Rams, after they traded down, we're going to grab Jachai Polite. Have him learn under Dante Fowler a little bit, a former Florida player who has had his troubles in the NFL. Now, Polite's tape is incredible. To me, the third best pass rusher. Frankly, his tape is the second best behind Nick Bosa, but just a lot of questions about what kind of character this guy has. It sounds like he's going to fall out of the first round, but you put on his tape and he really should be a top 15 pick. So the Rams in a position where I think they can take this risk. They've kind of fostered players like this with Marcus Peters, Dante Fowler, I guess. I think it's a good environment for them and a big need because they have some depth on that D-line, or on the edge rather, but they could really use a better edge presence who can really get after the quarterback. Then pick number 39, Tampa Bay. So we took the pass rusher. Now we need a corner. So we're going to grab the best one available, Amani Hooker. Really athletic dude, moves well at his length. Not a ton of weaknesses in his game. I don't know if he's ever going to be an elite guy, but he could get there. My comparison for him is Chidobe Awuzie. Would be a great find here for Tampa Bay in the second round. Pick number 40, the Buffalo Bills. Let's get a speedy playmaker for Josh Allen. Parris Campbell can design a lot of screens for him. I think Josh Allen would really benefit from a guy that is maybe a little better in the short passing game, just to almost force him to become more efficient in that regard. But this is interesting because with that just elite speed that Parris Campbell has, there's a lot of upside for Parris Campbell as a Tyreek Hill-esque deep threat. I don't think he's not as fast as Tyreek Hill, but you kind of get the point. We've seen what Mahomes and Tyreek Hill have been able to do together. Parris Campbell was not used like that at Ohio State to really capitalize on Dwayne Haskins' efficiencies in the short game, but I think if they opened up his game a little bit, Parris Campbell, we could see a version of him very easily that we didn't see in college, and I'm willing to take that risk. Pick number 41, Chris Lindstrom to the Denver Broncos. Plug him in there at guard, beef up that offensive line, a big need for them, help the run game, and protect their new quarterbacks, plural. Number 42, the Cincinnati Bengals grab Michael Deiter. Actually, a decent comparison for me is Kevin Zeitler, who had a lot of success here in Cincinnati. A player that kind of has flown under the radar just because he's so solid for Wisconsin. He's not an elite athlete, a big mauler, but a smart player, great technique, just plug-and-play guard starter. I think an underrated player in this class and a guy I'd put the sleeper tag on. Pick number 43 for Detroit. They could use another corner. I like Slay and I like Coleman, but they need an opposite guy there. Tease Tabor's not really getting the job done. Sean Bunting here is the pick out of Central Michigan. So we're taking a couple players out of the state of Michigan, but Bunting, I think, a great fit. I trust, actually, Matt Patricia to coach this player up. Physically, he reminds you a little bit of Stephon Gilmore, just a freak athlete, fluid movement skills produced at Central Michigan. So there might be a bit of a learning curve coming from a lower level of comp, but the upside here for Sean Bunting is really impressive. Then pick number 44, Green Bay, we're going to grab Andy Isabella. So we grabbed the outside threat in DK Metcalf. This team still needs someone in the slot that can get open and create separation. They don't have that on their roster right now unless it's Devontae Adams, and you'd be wasting that on the inside. All of their receivers are bigger, less quick guys that don't necessarily separate as much. A lot of these low-level wide receivers are still developing. I get it. You've had success developing guys in the past for Green Bay, but they don't have time to sit around and wait on Equanimeous St. Brown and Marquez Valdes-Scantling to work out. You got to go get some players that can actually get open for Aaron Rodgers so he doesn't look so pissed off all the time. So let's grab Andy Isabella. Just a freak in the slot, but he can play outside as well. Just the speed that you have added to this offense for Aaron Rodgers is incredible. We have never seen anything like this for Aaron Rodgers. The upside for this offense has really just blown the roof off now. Also underrated here, Andy Isabella gives this team a kick returner that they really needed. Fumbled kick returns and just a lack of field position in general has just devastated this team. It's cost them 4 or 5 games over the last couple of years. So you get a good kick returner now in Andy Isabella as well. Number 45, Christian Wilkins, the Atlanta Falcons, just kind of falling into their lap here. They need another interior guy. Wilkins, a plug-and-play starter. I don't necessarily love his upside, but a really safe pick here for Atlanta. And then number 46, the Washington Redskins. Let's grab A.J. Brown. Kind of fits the tenacity of this team. I just love kind of the culture here in Washington. They just take mean, mugging players. So A.J. Brown can play in the slot. Could play outside as well. But really thick dude. Going to be a good catch and run target for whoever lines up at quarterback. Then number 47, the Carolina Panthers. Let's grab a rangy free safety, Darnell Savage. The safety room here lacks some athleticism, and this would really shore up the back end of that defense that is now kind of returning to glory a little bit with Furl and Savage. Miami, number 48. We're going to grab Dre'Mont Jones, double dipping here at defensive line. Dre'Mont, another guy that kind of needs to develop, might not start right away. I might even see if he can play on the edge. Just a really athletic guy. It's going to give this defense an interior identity moving forward. Really a big weakness on that defense, in my opinion, is just D-line in general, whether it's on the edge or the interior. Number 49, the Cleveland Browns, first pick of the draft. By the way, just ludicrous that they're 12-1 to win the Super Bowl. Like, are there really that many people putting their money on the Browns right now to win the Super Bowl? Man, I don't know. But we're going to grab a tackle/guard. Max Scharping fits the identity of this team. Just kind of a mean dude. The biggest concern for me with Cleveland is that they're not going to get that elite pass protection for Baker that I think really helped him have the year he did as a rookie. I do think this pick really secures that because I've got questions at both tackle positions and, frankly, at guard. We don't know what type of player Austin Corbett is after they traded Kevin Zeitler away. So on paper, it should work out, but the odds of all 5 of those guys staying healthy and, frankly, working out in the same way that they did last year, as they were all kind of surprising, or we just haven't seen Corbett yet. I need one more guy in there, especially if they're going to meet these expectations, because if they have a weak link on that offensive line, I think Baker's going to disappoint no matter who his receivers are. Pick 50, we're going to go Jerry Tillery here to the Minnesota Vikings. Really need another piece on that inside. A bit of a developmental guy here in Tillery, but Zimmer really good at taking these freaks and turning them into star players. Pick number 51, Tennessee. We're going to stick with the offense. Grab Deebo Samuel, a guy that can probably be best used in the slot but can play outside as well. Mariota's not really looking to throw the ball deep. Everyone knows that. So let's give him a guy that can get open in the short game and have elite run after the catch ability like Deebo Samuel. And number 52, Pittsburgh. Now, I get that they have a nice starting line right now, but their guys are getting older. That offensive line has been the identity of this team. They are great at developing these guys as well. I know their offensive line coach is gone now, but we're going to grab Michael Jordan out of Ohio State. Don't know if he's ready to play right now, but this is one of the better athletes at the position in the draft. He's a versatile guy. He's played, I think, every position in college. So can be their sixth man and develop, and whoever they need to replace first, whether it's Pouncey or their new right tackle or Foster at left guard, or hell, even Villanueva is getting up there in age. Whoever needs to be replaced first, they have a guy that can step into whatever position they need. Then pick 53, the Eagles. We're going to grab Deionte Thompson. This is kind of reminiscent of the Jags taking Harrison last year, safety out of Alabama. They actually have some guys right now in McLeod and Malcolm Jenkins who I like, but both are older. McLeod coming off an injury. I think this team would really benefit from a versatile safety who could play either in the box or as a free safety, whatever they end up needing. Pick number 54, the Denver Broncos. I'm going to grab a linebacker to replace Brandon Marshall. Germaine Pratt, my comparison for him is Nigel Bradham, an athletic guy with big size. Might not necessarily have any plus traits in any regard, but does have some Darius Leonard vibes as well from last year. So if they could hit that, then look out for this defense. But I do think this is a big need for them, and I like Germaine Pratt quite a bit. Now Houston at number 55. It's time to get a franchise running back here, Josh Jacobs. And I don't know if he's going to be available this late. It wouldn't totally surprise me given the way the league thinks about running backs now, and I just don't know if this class is as good as what we've seen in the last couple of years. Lamar Miller's fine, but they need a playmaker at running back, and Josh Jacobs at this point in the draft, I'm willing to pull the trigger on a running back. So you now got a good franchise tackle in Andre Dillard and a running back to take some pressure off of Deshaun Watson. And then 56, Green Bay. Time to get a starting guard here, Connor McGovern. I know they signed Billy Turner. He, to me, is more of a versatile sixth man who can play guard or tackle, but they could really use an impact at guard and just more youth at the position in general. McGovern, to me, a sleeper and a guy that Green Bay really needs. 57, the Eagles. We're actually going to trade down here. I think the Eagles would love to grab some interior defensive line depth, which is a weakness as far as the depth is concerned, but the value not really there right now. So we're going to trade up with Buffalo. We're going to give up the 74th and 131st pick to get N'Keal Harry, big-bodied playmaker on the outside for Josh Allen. Pick number 58, the Dallas Cowboys. We're going to grab Foster Moreau. I think one of the more underrated players in this class, a freak athlete of a tight end and a great blocker. He's going to learn from Jason Witten, and I think could be a better Dallas Cowboy when all is said and done than Jason Witten because of that athletic upside, and just a great dude and a guy that I think is going to be a fantastic player, and my God, would this be a good fit here for Dallas with their first pick in this draft. Would help the run game and give Dak a versatile short game threat, because we know that the deep game is really not his strength. Pick number 59, the Indianapolis Colts. We could really use another short to intermediate cover guy. We got Nasir Adderley. Let's make it even better. Let's grab Ben Burke-Irvin. You got the bigger guy in Darius Leonard. Burke-Irvin doesn't even necessarily have to be on the field on first downs, but you put him in there in nickel packages and he can just straight up cover tight ends, running backs. They could use a corner. Certainly something we're going to keep looking at here in the draft, but the value to me was not there as it is with Ben Burke-Irvin. Pick number 60, this is one of my favorite picks in the class. We're going to grab Ryan Finley for the Chargers. Can sit and develop, be a solid backup as well. A guy that has a lot of similarities to Phillip Rivers. He's kind of got that gunslinger mentality. He's got that kind of Southern comfort personality. I think he's a guy that Phillip Rivers would love to play over, and Finley would love to learn from him as well. At 61 now, the Kansas City Chiefs, they have a huge hole at linebacker in the middle of that defense. So we're going to grab Mack Wilson. I don't think he has the highest upside, but just a smart player. This defense really just needs to keep everything in front of them and not give up big plays, and that's kind of what I have on Mack Wilson. He's a lengthy, smart player in coverage, good tackler. Plug him right in there and limit big plays. At 62, the New Orleans Saints, we're going to grab Will Grier. I know they got Teddy Bridgewater. I know this is the first pick in their draft, but they really don't have any big weaknesses. I mean, they could go think about receiver here, but I do think at some point, you've kind of gone all in. And this is your team, You've signed a couple free agents to try and get better, but you do need to think about the future at some point. And it's not like this team is going to be picking early, top 5 even after Drew Brees is gone. They have a lot of good young players, and I don't think Sean Payton's going anywhere. So you need to start thinking about that quarterback of the future. I just don't know if it's going to be Teddy Bridgewater. I don't know if he has the physical longevity to be a starter in the league. I don't even know if he's good enough to be a starter. So let's bring in Will Grier, and he's going to have a fantastic competition there. What a better place to sit and groom. And I don't know if he's ever going to be an elite guy, but if my comparison for him is Andy Dalton. If their long-term replacement was a young Andy Dalton with that surrounding core, you can work with that for sure for New Orleans. So I like this pick. Pick 63, Mecole Hardman, just a super speed wide receiver. It's insurance here for the Chiefs. It gives someone to play that Tyreek Hill role in that offense if anything bad happens off the field with Tyreek Hill. We don't really know what's going on there, but that's a need as well. Chris Conley's gone. Sammy Watkins can't stay healthy. You can run out of playmakers, even if you're Kansas City. So let's bring in Mecole Hardman. You can also take some kick return duties away from Tyreek Hill and let him focus on offense a little more. So number 64, Daniel Jones to the New England Patriots. I'm not a big Daniel Jones guy, and I don't know if he has the big upside, but we didn't think Tom Brady had a lot of upside when he came out either. And if anything bad happens to Tom Brady, I think New England's going to be pretty happy to have Daniel Jones in there to kind of run that system and develop under Tom Brady. Pick 65, Arizona. Time to address this offensive line. Let's grab Eric McCoy out of Texas A&M. Can start right there at center. I know they drafted one in like the 4th round last year. One of them can play guard. This team just needs help. Pittsburgh, number 66. We're going to grab David Long, corner out of Michigan. The coverage team here is just not very good. David Long is a fantastic athlete, can play in the slot, could play outside if needed as well. I think one of the sleepers in this class. Pick 67, love this pick. The 49ers taking Juwan Williams. Now, he has his weaknesses. He's not very fast, but he's kind of like that, Seattle press cover 3 safety where you keep him on the outside. You use that length and physicality a la Richard Sherman here in San Francisco. He can learn under. It's the same scheme. They now, another thing for Williams that I've mentioned is you got to put him behind a good pass rush because he's not going to be able to cover for that long because he's just not that fast. But his press ability combined with this pass rush and the need this team has for another corner, this could be one of the best picks in the draft right here. Then at pick number 68, the New York Jets, we got to get some offensive line help. So we're going to grab Caleb McGarry, kind of a freak athlete, really good pass protector out of Washington. Has the upside of a guy kind of like Brian O'Neill last year, who ended up being a really good starting rookie for the Minnesota Vikings. Could be a nice find here for the Jets. The Jacksonville Jaguars, we're going to grab a tight end here, Jay Sternberger. This is for Nick Foles. Loved his tight ends in Philadelphia. I thought about Irv Smith as well, but I think they want a guy that can run block really well as well. Sternberger, not a great run blocker, but has more physical ability to do so than Irv Smith. So we're going to take Sternberger, not unlike Dallas Goedert, who Foles had in Philadelphia. Pick number 70, Tampa Bay. We're going to double down at corner. We've talked enough about the need for corner. So we're going to take Trayvon Mullen out of Clemson. I think a little under the radar. Guy that really just wasn't targeted much at Clemson, but I think he can play. Denver, Jonathan Abram falling here. Love this addition on the back end. Gives some physicality back. Reminds me of TJ Ward, who they used to have there. Darius Stewart, I believe, is gone as well. So they could really use this role, and man, is he a fantastic player who's going to look good in this defense behind that pass rush. Pick number 72, we're going to grab another offensive lineman here for the Bengals. I don't think you can have enough offensive linemen if you're this team. We're going to grab Isaiah Prince. I'm not completely sold on him, but he's a guy that could be a starting right tackle for this team. He'll compete with Bobby Hart. And you also need some more long-term answer there at left tackles because Cordy Glenn's not getting any younger. Pick 73, the New England Patriots. We're going to grab Irv Smith. Not a bad haul for a team that gave up an extra pick to move up in the first. So, you've really got a franchise tight end, a quarterback for the future, and now another really versatile tight end weapon. We know that this team loves those 2 tight end sets. They love to run the ball. I mean, I know they already took a tight end, but this guy's too much of a Bill Belichickian player to pass up at this pick. And the value is just too good. We know this team loves their value. Pick 74, the Philadelphia Eagles. We traded down here to try and, move down and grab another interior defensive lineman. The value wasn't there earlier, and we're going to get the guy that we would have taken before the move down, Trysten Hill. Really athletic, developmental guy. Doesn't need to be an impact right away, but could be a guy that develops to be a Malik Jackson type of three-way defender on the inside. Green Bay at 75. We're going to stick with beefing up this offensive line. We already took a guard. Well, Brian Balaga's on the last year of his contract, and he's got major injury questions. Titus Howard out of Alabama State. Really intriguing developmental prospect. A quarterback in college, kind of has that Lane Johnson background. Just a freak athlete and really dominated his level of comp. Green Bay, fantastic at developing offensive linemen. And I think this team would be ecstatic looking at the depth and talent that they have on this offensive line. Now with these receivers and a couple good running backs, maybe even add another running back in the fourth, this offense could be on its way back to dominance. Pick number 76, love this pick. Rocky Sin, physical, nasty corner for this defense. Going to fit right in, kind of like a Josh Norman type of player. Doesn't have the elite physical traits you look for, but just a physical, nasty dude. He's going to fit right in, should start opposite of Josh Norman. Number 77, Hakeem Butler. We're going to get Cam Newton, that big target back that he used to like in Kelvin Benjamin. A deep threat here. A really good fit. I'm just not a huge Hakeem Butler guy, but he could really dominate here in Carolina. I think Carolina's having a really nice draft to this point. At pick number 78, the Miami Dolphins. Now, we've taken a couple risks here. Now we're going to go with a player that's kind of slipping here. A really, really solid starting safety. Taylor Rapp out of Washington. McDonald and Rashad Jones are not the future here. Yes, you have Minkah Fitzpatrick, but a nickel defender. You have got to add more safety talent there. And just in general, just a great leader. He's going to slip a little bit here just because there is a lot of depth at safety, and he did come out and run like a 4.7, 5.40, which is certainly concerning, but still great value here in the third, and this defense is shaping up to have a lot of potential for the future. Pick 79, the Atlanta Falcons. We're going to get a replacement here for Tevin Coleman in Darrell Henderson. I think a pretty similar player there. I do like Irv Smith, but the value just a little too good here for Atlanta. Freeman's had some injury questions as well, so I don't think there's a problem here putting another good running back, and I mean a really good running back, in that room. Pick 80, the Cleveland Browns. Let's grab Amani Hooker. Other than that big hole at tackle that we mentioned, I think they could really use another safety corner, nickel corner. We don't really know what Amani Hooker is going to be at the next level. He played a lot of different positions in college, but this gives them a secure playmaker in the secondary to round out that defense. Pick 81, the Vikings. We're going to grab another offensive lineman, Bobby Evans. Could honestly probably start at guard, depending what they think about Josh Klein, but can also play tackle. You've got some versatility now with him and Dalton Reisner. Just a glaring need for this team. Pick 82, the Tennessee Titans. Going to grab a tight end here, Caleb Wilson. Similar type of athlete to Delanie Walker. He can block a little bit as well, and he's got some wheels. Very fitting with what we've done with Tennessee so far. We're going to run the ball. We're going to run play action. We're going to keep the passes short. And I really like the upgrade to this offense from a playmaker perspective after getting Deebo and Caleb Wilson. Pick 83, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Another pick that I just love, Deionte Johnson. You're looking for a shorter guy that can absolutely separate and run fantastic routes like Antonio Brown did for you. Obviously, Deionte Johnson's got a long way to go before he's Antonio Brown, but he, I think, might get the nod as the best route runner in this class, and he's a good complement to the other receivers they have here. This team does a great job developing players like this. He could very well be an Emmanuel Sanders type of player here in Pittsburgh. Absolutely love this pick. Got to put a star next to this one. And then another one. And I guess that's what you get when you do what I would do mock draft. You get excited. But Juwan Thornhill, falling here to Seattle. I don't know if they need him to play safety, but I was on Twitter saying that Juwan Thornhill, I think, could do kind of a Trey Flowers-esque conversion to an outside corner in a Seattle scheme like this. He's got the long speed. He's got the ability to press, the length, the ball skills. He could be this team's number one corner on the outside in a year. I'm not entirely sold on Trey Flowers. I'm frankly not entirely sold on Shaquille Griffin either, so I do think they need help at corner. But they could also use a nickel corner to replace Coleman. They could use a safety. Juwan Thornhill is a defensive back, and Seattle is a team that is going to find out how to use him. I don't know if he's going to fall this far. It happened last year when Justin Reed fell to the third, who I had a first-round grade on. I had no idea that was going to happen. I have a second-round grade on Thornhill, so it could happen. But this would probably get my number one grade out of any pick in this entire draft when I do my draft grades afterwards. So then Baltimore at 85, we're going to grab David Sills. We know this team wants receivers that can run block. Big target here for Lamar Jackson, who can't hit the broadside of a barn. Well, if he happens to get it around the broadside of the barn, David Sills has a tremendous catch radius to go get the damn thing. Pick number 86, the Houston Texans. We're going to grab Miles Boykin. A bit of a luxury pick here. Houston's got 3 good wide receivers, but Will Fuller can't stay healthy. Kiki Kuti kind of limited to the slot. Miles Boykin gives this team someone to develop to maybe be that big-bodied number 2 opposite of DeAndre Hopkins. Take a little pressure off of him. This could be a slam dunk pick, or he could bust, but I do like it for the Texans. The Chicago Bears, their first pick in the draft, and they're going to get a potential star running back here, Miles Sanders. Kind of fits that Alvin Kamara mold of what teams are looking for in these late day 2 running backs. Can catch the ball out of the backfield, make guys miss, good balance. I think he'd be a day 1 starter for Chicago. Then at number 88, I didn't love this pick here. Detroit's kind of a tough team to pick because Detroit's kind of similar to Tennessee now, where they've got a lot of depth kind of across the board, but they kind of just lack playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. So we're going to grab Hunter Renfrow. Can be that Golden Tate replacement, plug-and-play slot receiver. Might not be the best value, but you're getting a starter here and someone that Matthew Stafford's going to be comfortable with, because I do think he missed that go-to target in the slot. Then at 89, we mentioned earlier the Indianapolis Colts looking for a corner. We're going to take a risk here on a guy in Kendall Sheffield who has seriously high potential, just a freak athlete, but a young guy that still needs to really work on his technique. Suffered a pretty bad injury in the pre-draft process, so a big swing for the fences here, but with the pieces this team's already added to the coverage unit, this could really hit the thing out of the park and make the Colts, frankly, elite defense next year if they could get starting production from Kendall Sheffield, who has all of the physical tools and some to be a good starting corner, if not more, in the NFL. Number 90, we're going to grab Kalen Sanders here for the Dallas Cowboys. They need some beef on the inside of that D-line. It's a real weakness for them at this point. I like what Sanders offers in run defense. Can also rush the passer a little bit as well. Kind of a rare athlete at his size. Someone that has a chance to be like a Mike Daniels type of steal as kind of that shorter, beefy interior guy, but I do think he needs to develop his burst a little bit, get off the ball a little quicker. Then at 91, the LA Chargers, we have got to improve the pass protection here for Phillip Rivers. So we're going to grab Yodny Cajuste out of West Virginia, a decently polished pass protector, should be able to come in and start at right tackle over Sam Tevi and upgrade this offensive line. At 32, the Kansas City Chiefs. I really like this pick, Jamal Davis. One of my bigger sleepers in this class, he really only does one thing, and that's get after the quarterback. He's not going to help you in run defense. You don't really want him on the field if the other team's even thinking about running. But you lost your 2 best edge rushers from last year. The 2 guys you have are kind of oversized and unproven. Jamal Davis is going to give this team someone who can come in on 3rd down and help this defense get off the field, because that is all it's going to be about for the Chiefs, is getting their offense back on the field. Jamal Davis could be a 9-sack rookie from a guy that only plays 400 snaps. He just has elite burst and bend off the edge. He's a little undersized, but I really like his game. The New York Jets here at 93. This team could really use a number 1 wide receiver. There's only one guy left on the board that I could see becoming that, and that's Preston Williams. There's probably more likely than not this guy is just not a very good human and isn't going to put in the work, but he has the physical upside. He dominated after transferring to Colorado State. Don't really love him coming into the big lights in New York, and probably wouldn't work out, but he's the only guy left that I think could become the number 1 wide receiver that this team's looking for. If he busts, it's not the end of the world, because you still got some decent options there for Darnell that you brought in free agency. At pick 94, the Rams. We're going to try and address the offensive line here. Trey Pipkins, a guy that you probably aren't going to start right away coming out of North Dakota State or North Dakota. One of the better athletes on the offensive line and obviously dominated his level of competition. But the Rams need an answer for Whitworth probably after this year. Left guard is a question mark. Hell, center is a question mark. I think the Rams would really benefit from beefing up that offensive line. Then we've got the Giants at 95. Let's take a speedy middle linebacker, Voshon Joseph, a high-risk, high-reward pick. Dealing with, I think, some hamstring injuries. We don't really know how athletic he is. We do know he is a very much plus athlete at linebacker. This team could use some increased coverage skills at that position. Pick 96, the Washington Redskins. We're going to grab Dawson Knox. Really good blocker, was underutilized at Ole Miss, 4'5", sub 4'5", 40 type of guy. Let him come in, kind of play under Jordan Reed, learn how to be that same type of just speedy tight end. I think he's a guy that you could use with Case Keenum or if Alex Smith comes back, or Colt McCoy could really be a nice weapon for them. It really fits the theme here that we're going for with Washington. At 97, Sutton Smith. We've been pinpointing this guy to the New England Patriots, a versatile, super quick, athletic linebacker. He can play in this versatile defense. He was an elite pass rusher in college, but an undersized guy will have to play some off-ball. Huge need for the Patriots. Absolute scheme fit. I'd be so pumped if I was a Patriots fan and they landed him at 97 after trading up to get TJ Hawkinson. We got back-to-back picks here for the Rams. 98, we're going to grab Ugo Amadi. Really instinctive, quick, probably nickel corner. Could play some free safety as well. Decent comparison for him is LaMarcus Joyner, who just left in free agency. Gives this team some added coverage ability and a potential starter at either nickel corner or at safety, whatever they end up needing. And then at 99, we're going to grab Tavon Coney. Come in, start at linebacker for them. Not a super high upside guy. Reminds me a little bit of Brandon Marshall, though. Should be able to shore some things up in the middle of that defense. Really smart player. Then at number 100, I love this pick. David Montgomery to the Panthers. Could really use a compliment to Christian McCaffrey. Now, I've come around on Christian McCaffrey. I think he is a number one running back. He's got better between the tackles ability than I originally thought. I don't think he's elite in that regard. But a more slender guy. At this point, they are looking at giving McCaffrey like 400 touches next year, and I don't know if he can hold up at that. So let's take some of that load off. David Montgomery can do more of the work between the tackles. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. Just gives you a true impact starter. One of the safest players in this class, and I love this draft for the Panthers. I'm excited to hear from the Panthers fans on this one. And then at 101, we're going to stick with the defense here for the Patriots. Anthony Nelson, get a defensive end to kind of rotate in there, compete for a starting job. Frankly, a really nice, long player. Can play that Trey Flowers role and will be a great fit here for New England. And then 102, the last pick here in this Megalodon, the Baltimore Ravens. They brought in Mark Ingram, but they could use a little more explosiveness to complement that. Let's take Bryce Love out of Stanford. This team's going to win by playing defense, running the ball, play action, read options, dumping the ball off to their running back. Bryce Love is going to be just another great weapon to get that done. So, wow, that was a Megalodon. We're going to end it just like that. If you made it this far, you must have enjoyed the video. Please hit that like button. Come back on draft night for a live stream coverage reacting to the draft. So cheers as always, guys, and we'll see you next time. Peace out.